Achievements and trophies exist as a record of your most impressive gaming feats. And so that the 100 hours you spent trying to collect perfect rabbit pelts in Red Dead Redemption 2 wasn't in vain, but rather a worthwhile and smart use of a significant portion of the only life you'll ever have. Excuse me, I just need to take this for a second. Some achievements, however, don't require anywhere near this level of commitment. In fact, there are achievements you can get by doing literally nothing at all, which is an achievement in itself, I suppose. Here are 7 games that agree. Enjoy, and beware spoilers ahead for the following games.
Me and Paulie never did agree about the way things were being done. Paulie took the business into selling drugs, working side by side with the cops. When I was growing up, the family had codes. We did business. We looked out for the people. I believe we ought to honor those codes. Now Paulie, he's just a parasite. Wants to bleed me dry.
The Darkness presents an intriguing alternate reality what-if scenario. What if goths could become mafia dons?
Thanks, Mikey. Attaboy, Jackie.
Sadly, the answer to that question doesn't involve leather trench coats replacing pinstripe suits and Godfather films where Marlon Brando listens to Ministry. But it does involve hellish tentacles voiced by the lead singer of Faith No More that eat people's hearts.
Through you, I am born.
So on the whole, I'm going to say an improvement. Anyway, in The Darkness you play as said goth mafia don Jackie Estacado, who goes on a roaring rampage of revenge after his girlfriend Jenny is killed by his organised crime rivals, a rampage that is definitely helped by the aforementioned tentacles. Before that though, you, as Jackie, get to spend a quiet evening in with Jenny at her apartment, where you snuggle up on the couch and watch a movie, 1962's To Kill a Mockingbird starring Gregory Peck, to be specific.
Come on, sit here for a while, Jackie. Watch some TV with me.
Good choice, although you might have wanted to pick something with explosions, because before long, Jenny has fallen asleep on your shoulder. Which, I mean, it's your decision, lady, but I'm pretty sure that's where the tentacles come out. All in all, this takes a couple of minutes of sitting still and doing absolutely nothing, at which point you're awarded with the 10-point romantic achievement for being a good boyfriend and not loudly moaning about how your arm's gone to sleep and you want to watch Hobbs and Shaw instead. Ah, that's sweet. And only slightly undermined seconds later when you get up, leave, and murder 1,000 people with hell tentacles. But still, nice while it lasted.
Say, buddy, you mentioned something about research for a story.
That's right. Got a tip that something big's happening.
In a nowhere little town like that? They sure didn't mention anything about it on TV.
Yeah, well, I'm freelance, pal. I don't make my living waiting for the TV to tell me what to cover.
Every sensible person has a plan for surviving the zombie apocalypse. Mine, for example, well, let's just say I don't need to be fast. I just need to be faster than Mike.
Yeah? What?
Nothing. If you're in the zombie apocalypse of Capcom's Dead Rising, however, there's an even easier survival plan available to you, and one that nets you an achievement into the bargain. When Frank West arrives via helicopter at the start of the game, he tells the pilot to come back for him in 72 hours.
Don't forget to come back for me!
As long as you're not dead, Fred.
Usually the way you play a Dead Rising game is by sprinting around the mall or wherever, changing into stupid outfits and smashing zombies' heads in with a variety of improvised weaponry. Along the way, you'll realise that maybe man is the real monster, because it sure does seem like a lot of people were just waiting for the apocalypse to become evil clowns.
Everyone used to laugh at me. I was a walking punchline.
Very funny. But if all that sounds like too much hassle, you can just sit around on the helipad for 72 in-game hours, 6 hours in real time, and do absolutely nothing. After 3 days have elapsed, you'll get picked up by the returning helicopter as promised and earn yourself the 20G 3-Day Survivor achievement for surviving 3 days in a zombie-infested shopping mall despite having never seen or encountered any undead outside of the opening cutscene. Oh wait, there's one. Whew, that was close.
So, you're gonna test, and I'm gonna watch. And everything is gonna be just
Warning. Core overheating. Nuclear meltdown imminent.
I think we're in trouble.
During the events of Portal 2, for reasons that are too complicated to get into here, the villain of the first game ends up in a potato, and Stephen Merchant from The Office starts trying to kill you.
Ah, yes! I knew you'd solve it.
Hey, moron.
Oh.
It's at this point in the game that dim personality core Wheatley is in charge of the Aperture Science testing facility, and compelled by his new power to test constantly, despite the available test subjects being less than optimal.
Walking onto buttons. How can you not do the one thing you're designed for?
Try to get us down there. I'll hit him with a paradox.
So when you turn up, he's delighted to have someone to test out his new chamber. This is a big, mostly empty room with the word test written on the wall, an empty moat, and a button which, when pushed, does something, I expect.
Impossible, as it is to imagine, there actually is a solution, devilishly hidden.
If you prefer, however, you can just sit here and do absolutely nothing, ignoring all the useful hints from Wheatley.
Go on.
Until you get an achievement called You Made Your Point for refusing to solve Wheatley's test. Yeah, refusing. That's right. Could I have another hint, though?
I'll give you a hint. Button. That's all I'm going to say. One word. Button.
You button it, Wheatley. I'm trying to solve a puzzle here. Think, Jane, think.
Oh, oh yes. Oh, well done.
Bruce, you can hear me, can't you? You need to step into the light. Your father and I are waiting. We missed you so much.
Hey, did you know Batman's parents are dead? I know, he keeps it pretty quiet. That being said, Batman's loss is your gain, because you can get a 5G achievement in Batman Arkham City for doing absolutely nothing for a minute, right next to where Thomas and Martha Wayne had the worst night at the theatre since the opening night of Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. Crime Alley, the ironically named street where the Wayne murders took place, is included in the parts of Old Gotham that have been converted into the Supermax prison known as Arkham City, which is going to make popping in to drop off some flowers a bit tricky going forward. Luckily for Batman, however, Hugo Strange has already been here and done just that, as well as redrawing the chalk outlines of the Wayne's bodies, so you don't accidentally pay your respects further down the street where someone poor died. At least I hope they've been redrawn and it's not that no one's cleaned this street in 30 years. Knowing Gotham, it could be either. Anyway, make time to stop by the alley and you're given the option to pay respects, something that involves kneeling down and doing literally nothing for a full minute, the most respectful amount of time there is. Once a minute has passed, you'll get the achievement Paying Respects and can get back to your busy schedule of killing other people's parents. That's a problem for 30 years' time, Batman. Wouldn't want to be that guy.
In real life, meditating gets you literally nothing, except improved mental well-being, yes. In the transcendentally lovely Journey on PS3 and later PS4, however, meditating gets you a shiny bronze trophy for your virtual trophy cabinet. And where real-world meditation requires stuff like mindful breathing and not thinking about Doritos, in the dreamy desert world of Journey, you simply have to bop the select button to sit down and wait, without any of the pins, needles and shooting pains in your knees that come of sitting cross-legged as an adult for any amount of time. To get the Journey trophy known as Reflection, you merely have to encounter another player through Journey's spontaneous online matchmaking and hope that they are, like you, a meditative soul. And that they know the button for sitting down. Sit down, sit down, sit down, friend. My friend, please. Friend, please, no, that's jumping. Friend. Once I get the message and find the right button though, you simply need to take a sandy seat together and wait, doing absolutely nothing, like so. And you continue in that vein for just 20 seconds until you are awarded the trophy called Reflection for your co-op meditation. 20 seconds? Psh, if that's all it took to find my sense of inner stillness, I'd be calmer than a Dalai Lama. Let's try it now. Was that 20 seconds? No! Ugh.
Hi. The original Prince of Persia was, in my experience, a game in which a guy in pyjamas impaled himself on spikes every 45 seconds for some reason. Needless to say, it was a concept in need of freshening up. A freshening up that arrived with series reboot Prince of Persia in 2008 that gave the prince a host of new acrobatic moves and a sidekick called Elika who does a great job of stopping you killing yourself every 45 seconds. And we'll play I Spy with you if you get bored.
What sort of game is this?
Well, I see something, and you have to guess what it is.
How can I guess that?
You just guess.
Grass.
No.
Rock.
No.
This is a stupid game.
In fact, you'll grow to become pretty fond of Elika on account of how she's useful, capable, and, unlike the prince, not an annoying dude bro whose head is too small for his body.
Bet you wish you'd opted for conversation now, don't you? Yeah, and you can run too.
Which is why it's such a shame when she, spoilers, dies. It's okay though for two reasons. One, because she comes back to life a bit later, and two, because there's an achievement in it for you if you do precisely nothing after it happens. The achievement, called Precious Time, is awarded for taking, quote, 1 minute to think. What this means for you is to stand completely still, holding Elika's corpse, and do nothing for a full minute, the most respectful amount of time there is. Do nothing in the game, that is. You can probably use this time to go to the bathroom or make some toast or something, as long as you do it respectfully. Once the minute is up, your achievement will pop and you'll be up 10G and down 1 Elika. But like I say, she comes back to life, so win-win, right Elika?
Why?
I guess this does mean she has to spend more time with the prince, so that's fair.
Final Fantasy V was the 5th game in a series that demonstrated pretty early on that it has no idea what the word final means. What are they up to now? 26? Feels like 26. Final Fantasy V was at least a bit of a departure for the series, introducing a unique job class system that allowed each of the 4 main characters to switch freely between 22 different jobs. Which in 1992 probably seemed like a far-fetched fantasy concept, rather than just a grim portent of the gig economy. Alongside such useful jobs as Blue Mage and Samurai, however, there were also a handful of secret jobs, including Mime. This sadly doesn't place a pane of pretend glass between you and your enemies for the amusement of a gathered crowd, but instead allows you to copy incoming attacks at no cost to yourself. I guess mimes are having to branch out to compete with all the street magicians, contact jugglers, and floating Yodas. You seen those guys? Incredible. In order to unlock the mime job in Final Fantasy V, you'll need to defeat a formidable boss called Gogo the Master Mime. Attack Gogo and he'll attack you right back with powerful abilities mimicking your hostility. What you're supposed to do instead is just leave the controller alone, at which point Gogo compliments you on your mimicry skills. Yes, if anyone asks, that was intentional and not just because I got distracted looking at Instagram stories. Eventually he gets bored, gives you his blessing and then banishes himself to the void, granting you victory and allowing you to pick up the crystal that unlocks the mime job. More importantly, it also earns you the Steam achievement Master Mimic. Also, credit where it's due, Gogo does quite well to balance on one foot while he waits. If this mime thing isn't paying the bills, you could always try ballet.
So those were some achievements you can get for doing absolutely nothing, but if you do feel like doing something, then how about watching another video from us? So up here is a one about things that happen in every single dungeon that you go into, and down here is our most recent Ox venture, our Dungeons & Dragons campaign that involved a talking cow god, and also a lot of stuff blew up, I expect. So check that out as well. Thanks for watching.